It's Wednesday, September 13, and time for your Barbados Day afternoon update. I'm Kmar Jordan. Thanks for joining us. Our top story at this hour: if Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite gets his way, cameras will soon be installed at this island's ports of entry. Addressing the third quarterly breakfast meeting of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association at the Barbados Hilton Resort this morning, Mr. Brathwaite said cameras were now seen as a must in light of the increase in recent violent crimes. The Attorney General also said there was no reason for customs officers and trade unions who previously opposed the measure to hold fast to their positions.
It wasn't done in the past because, there were some petty arguments. Who can look at the cameras? What happens if an officer wants to do something private? All kind of pettiness, etc. Those days are past. It has to be done. Given the level of gun violence that we're seeing in this country, it has to be done, and we intend to get it done.
Mr. Brathwaite also outlined a number of anti-crime strategies. These include new legislation to give police more power to search an individual's property without reason of suspicion.
The law now allows police officers to stop and search individuals where there is reasonable suspicion that the individual has either committed an offense or is about to commit an offense. So we, again, have given the Chief Environmental Council the instructions to look to see how we can broaden the police's power, not only to stop and search, but to search individual properties and stuff, even without reason of suspicion. It's a very dicey area of the law because, of course, you have your constitutional rights to property, and we still have to ensure that we protect the individual's rights.
5 men charged with the murder of British national Stephen Weir appeared in the District A Magistrates Court today. Mr. Weir, a British car salesman from Kirkham in Lancashire, was reported missing on August 23. 7 days later, his body was found by police at Melverton, St. George. Our Fenella Weatherburn was in court today, and she files this report.
35-year-old Sunil Decorsi Brom of number 7 Alamanda Drive, West Terry, St. James. 30-year-old Kino Nakito Griffith of Ponders Gap, Westbury Road, St. Michael. 26-year-old Christopher Danley Michael Clark of Otterson, St. Philip. Torio Akira Watson, also 26, of Block 6D, Field Road, Wildy, St. Michael, and 27-year-old Basil Alfonso Branch of Morris Gap, Westbury Road, St. Michael, appeared in the District A Magistrates Court today just before noon under heavy police security. First, the precincts of the Bridgetown Court was secured. Then came the armed members of the Tactical Response Unit as their colleagues from the Criminal Investigation Department escorted the men who are accused of murdering 49-year-old British national Stephen Weir to court. 4 of the men were represented by attorneys, while Clark was unrepresented. They were not required to plead to the capital offense when they appeared before Magistrate Christy Coffey Sargent. They will make their next appearance in the District B Magistrates Court on October 11. Meanwhile, Broom, who is accused of committing 3 offenses under the Theft Act, will also make an appearance in the Oistins Magistrates Court on October 9. Reporting for Barbados Today, I'm Fernella Wedderburn.
Thank you, Fenella. Well, meantime, the crime prevention officer of the Royal Barbados Police Force, Stephen Griffith, says the force is making a significant dent into solving homicides. He told a town hall meeting on crime last night that while the country has recorded 26 murders so far this year, Barbadians can rest assured that the force has the situation under control.
26 is a fairly good figure, right? Well, all due respect to people who died in the family, but 26 is a hard figure. And we're making a lot of headways in solving those murders. You recognize over the weekend some other guys were charged for a murder in Christchurch. Probably by the end of the week, we will have about 5 or 6 other persons, 5 of whom are already in custody in respect of another murder. So we are making some headway. There's no need to panic. The investigation is slow and very determined process, and we want the assistance of all.
The Barbados Defense Force and the Regional Security System are at this hour headed to Tortola to evacuate stranded Barbadians there. Barbados Today understands that about a dozen Barbadians are seeking to get out of the British Overseas Territory. Among them, Barbadian-Canadian couple Glenna Smith and her husband, Romeo Addison. Smith yesterday appealed to Barbadian authorities to rescue her and her husband from the British Overseas Territory. Today's mission follows a similar operation conducted in St. Martin yesterday, in which there were 3 Barbadians rescued, and we hope they can all reach here safe and sound. Barbados is becoming too Americanized, but citizens prefer that the island retains its traditional values of working for the common good and of Barbadians being their neighbor's keeper. That's among the findings emerging from the Barbados National Values Assessment Report, which was released by political scientist and head of the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies, Don Marshall, last night. The full results of the study will be revealed on September 26, but Mr. Marshall handed over the first copy of the findings to Prime Minister Frendel Stewart at a ceremony at his official residence, Elara Court, last night.
I will just give you a sneak insight by saying that there is strong evidence that we are driven to an American manner of society, but there's also a hankering for a return to some idea of the politics of the common good. The common good and looking out for your brother, your sister, and so on. Those values oriented around the promotion of the common good seem to trump the crass individualism and so on that is revealed in the comments that is written and that from the interviews that we had with persons like the eminent and so on.
And Barbados has been assured of more funding from the Inter-American Development Bank to eliminate poverty and social and economic inequality. The announcement was made this morning at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center, or Emmanuel Joseph now reports.
The assurance was given this morning by General Manager of the IDB's Caribbean Country Department, Therese Turner-Jones, while speaking at the launch of the 2016-2017 Barbados Survey of Living Conditions at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center. Turner-Jones said the IDB was prepared to work with Barbados to see how the findings can be implemented to improve the living conditions of households in areas such as health, education, fertility, and employment. Minister of Social Care, Steve Blackett, who addressed the gathering, also assured that the data from this survey will be used to drive policy in eradicating poverty. The survey, which ran from February 2016 to January 2017, covered 2,500 households involving 7,100 Barbadians. At the time of this report, the findings had still not yet been presented. From the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center, Emmanuel Joseph for Barbados Today.
Good morning, Phillips and Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for one here, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Mom, are you still there? Oh, she put down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional happenings now, Britain today announced an extra £25 million sterling, that's over $33 million US, in aid for Caribbean overseas territories devastated by Hurricane Irma. British Prime Minister Theresa May made the announcement as Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson visits the British Virgin Islands and Anguilla. More than 1,000 military personnel are now in the region, and May said another 200 will arrive within days, along with more than 60 police officers. Earlier this week, the British government had come under pressure for its response to the affected overseas territories. Further afield in the United States, 5 people have died at a Florida nursing home that was left without power for days after Hurricane Irma. This morning, police evacuated some 120 residents from the facility, which was left without air conditioning following the storm. Broward County Mayor Barbara Sharif said 3 people were found dead at the Hollywood Hills nursing home. 2 others died after reaching hospital. An estimated 10 million people are still without power in Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. And on that sad note, we end this afternoon edition. But there's more online at www.barbadosday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper email updates and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Medium bus terminals, or screenplay in a supermarket or a gas station near you. Also, check us out on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Kmar Jordan. Have a fabulous afternoon and be sure to join us later on this evening for our 6 p.m. update.